In today's episode, we're going back in time to an era when men's designer fragrances were genuinely beast mode and unapologetically loud. And this one was the absolute king of them all. This is Kouros from Yves Saint Laurent, and to find out if this is still worth considering in 2020, stay tuned to Mags Frags. Yes, hello again everybody and welcome to another episode of Mags Frags. I'm Paul and this is day 72 of my Fragrance 365 project, where I talk about a different fragrance every day for a whole year. So today's scent of the day is Kouros from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. This is an uber masculine woody chypre fragrance and it was first launched in 1981. Following its release, it was the top selling fragrance year on year throughout the 1980s, and it really was a huge fragrance back then. I wore this one as a teenager back in the late 1980s, and at that time you really couldn't go anywhere without smelling this on someone. Or should I say, tasted it, because it really was that strong at the time. Roll on another 30 years, and I was in Selfridges just before the pandemic started. I was buying the La Nuit de l'Homme EDP that had just come out, and I got talking to the manager of the YSL concession, and she said that this one is still the best selling product from all of the men's YSL fragrances by a country mile. So this has had some minor tweaks over the years, and this is a new style bottle. It's not one of the vintage ones. So let's take a look at the latest note breakdown and let's see what's inside this one. Yeah, the top notes in this one are coriander, bergamot, Artemisia and Clary sage. In the mid there's clove, jasmine, geranium, carnation, cinnamon and orris root. And in the base there's incense, ambergris, oakmoss, patchouli, vetiver, honey, leather, musk, tonka bean and civet. So this is a world away from your new, fresh, modern blue designer fragrances, and it smells extremely pungent, with the most dominant accord being a musky animalic profile. It's very masculine, and some people have described it as smelling like them little urinal blocks in public toilets that have been urinated on all day, which I can kind of understand what they mean by that now. I'd never noticed this before, but depending on certain circumstances, it can come off smelling a little bit like urine, which should make it one of the worst ideas for a fragrance ever. But in actual fact, this is one of the most successful and sexy fragrances ever, which is what also makes this one the most unique and recognisable scent of all time, in my opinion. This has the ability to scramble my mind, and it just throws my senses all over the place. Sometimes it smells clean and soapy with a shower gel and a bit of a milky vibe with maybe a touch of sweetness in there. And then other times it smells like a dirty urine stained mattress. But as strange as it may sound, don't let that put you off, because it does smell totally wonderful. So that means I like this smell of dried urine. I'm confused. The bottle has stayed fairly consistent with the original one from back in the 1980s, but the original had these little chrome contour lines at the base and also around the shoulder of the bottle, whereas the newer bottles have this all white body. The shape of the bottle reminds me of kind of like an Art Deco style building in Miami, with all these rounded edges and the contour lines that run all the way around it. It comes in a frosted white finish, and you get a chrome sprayer which is built into the top of the into the bottle there, and that contains the YSL logo. The branding on the front is in a silver metallic, and at the bottom we've got the batch code and all the other product information. The sprayer is really nice. It's a YSL, so it's a really nice fine mist there. And overall, the design is instantly recognisable if you're familiar with the Kouros, and it hasn't changed much over the years. This is one for the cooler months of the year, and it's way too loud and aggressive to wear as like an office scent or somewhere where you're going to be in close proximity with other people. This is the perfect social distancing fragrance actually, because from about 2 meters away you're instantly going to get noticed and you're always going to smell great from that distance with this. It was made, I would say, for a night out in the 1980s when like a white suit and a button-down shirt and highlights in your hair was still considered to be quite cool. It's a true retro masterpiece that I think will at some point become fashionable again, because trends tend to go full circle, and if you're a younger guy now that really wants to smell completely different to all your mates, then something like this will really set you apart. But for anyone who wore this first time round back in the 1980s, you probably still see it as being a little bit old-fashioned. I actually believe that this would be really cool now on a guy of under the age of 25, but on someone like my age it would come across just like that you haven't moved on from the past, if that makes sense. It's definitely a masculine fragrance, and I couldn't ever see women wearing this one. Even though this has been reformulated many times over the years and it isn't quite as powerful as it used to be, it's still an absolute beast of a fragrance with fantastic projection, and it will last you easily 10 hours. I can instantly pick up on anyone that's wearing this from a range of around about 10 feet away, and that's probably after about 4 hours after the first sprayed it. If performance is an important consideration for your next fragrance, then you really need to be heading straight to the YSL counter to give this one a try. But 1 or 2 sprays is all you need from this one. Any more than that and you'll probably be setting fire alarms off. Yeah, I have a very special place in my heart for this little bad boy, and I'm so glad that I got to wear this and other fragrances from this era when they were around in their original formulations. This really was a golden era in perfumery, and this one led the way. It's the Elvis Presley, it's the Muhammad Ali, it's the king of men's fragrances, and if by any slim chance that you haven't tried this legendary scent, then be ashamed of yourself and go stand in the naughty corner. This is one that will bring back so many memories for guys of a certain age, and I imagine it was partly responsible for a baby boom in the 1980s, along with a bit of Barry White on the record player. Yeah, so once again, that's about it for today's scent of the day. Tomorrow I'm going to be giving my thoughts on a much lighter fragrance that will get us ready for the springtime, so don't forget to tune in for that one tomorrow to find out which one I'm talking about. If you found this video useful, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, it's great to hear your opinions and your critiques and your thoughts on all of these fragrances that feature in the videos in this project. So don't forget to keep your comments coming down in the comments section. So as always, thank you once again for watching. Stay safe, everybody. Keep smelling fresh, and I'll see you tomorrow for another one. Bye bye for now.